Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's a Star Wars nerd here, and today we'll be going over the recent news that there could potentially be a solo spin-off or a solo sequel coming at some point in the future. This news comes from StarWarsNewsNet.com, so as always I'll link to the description down below, so if you want to check it out after you watch my video. But anyways, let's get right into it. As more and more fans are continuing to voice their love of Solo: A Star Wars Story, the hashtag #MakeSolo2 campaign is continuing to pick up lots of steam on social media. Ron Howard, who directed Solo, was interviewed by movie podcast Lights Camera Barstool and was asked a few questions about the rumblings that keep popping up about a potential Solo sequel or Disney Plus series. While the director did say there was nothing in development, he did seem quite optimistic about the potential and future. He goes on to say, "No rumblings though, and this is not a spoiler or anything, but I think there's interest in those characters. I think there's interest in the gangster world somewhere down the line, but I can assure you there's nothing being developed right now for a movie or Disney Plus. But one great thing is there has been a lot of affection shown for Solo, and so of course that keeps boding well for them to eventually turn it around." Ron Howard is not a stranger to all the growing support for his film, as the director has acknowledged it many times over the past 2 years. Howard is once again reuniting with Lucasfilm, where he'll be serving as an executive producer for an upcoming Disney Plus series called Willow, where he will get to work once again with his co-scribe from the Solo movie, Jon Kasdan. Jon Kasdan is also no stranger to the growing support for the Solo movie, and that is shown with some of his recent tweets that have excited some fans. In his first tweet, he goes on to say, "Still feel a twinge of regret this didn't make the cut. Guess we'll just have to do it in Solo too." Although this tweet was obviously just him having some fun, he has also encouraged fans to continue to show their support for Solo, as he revealed that he has stories for more adventures that are ready to be told. Kasdan's stories would involve Han Solo working with the Hutts in a crime war between the Pikes and Crimson Dawn, which goes hand in hand with the gangster world that Ron Howard was talking about with the podcast that I mentioned earlier. Here is the tweet where Jon Kasdan goes on to say, "Beyond grateful and galvanized by the Make Solo 2 Happen energy on Twitter today. It means so much to everyone involved, and your enthusiasm makes it possible for us to keep advocating for it. Because the maker knows there's a war story set in a galaxy far, far away that's yet to be told." In the Lights Camera Barstool interview, Ron Howard also commented on Harrison Ford's praise for the movie, Alden Ehrenreich's performance, and his love for the entire cast that he got to work with. He goes on to say, "Harrison Ford liked Solo very much and was supportive when he saw it. He was so gracious and complimentary to Alden. He said some things publicly, but privately it was really great to see him put his hand on Alden's shoulder and say, 'Great job, kid.' And Alden worked so hard and it was a very high-risk situation for him. And he was a cool customer and was really a pleasure to work with. As was the entire cast, they were just a great bunch." After reading this article, it's really cool to see that the makers of the film are seeing how much love and support people have for their film. I know it must have been an awful feeling when they saw how much it did not succeed financially for Disney and how little support the movie had in the beginning of its lifespan. I honestly had mixed feelings about Solo ever since it was released, and I still do to this day. I don't think it was a bad film necessarily, but I don't really know why it was made when the fans never asked for anything like it. I also feel like some of the ways they explained the background for iconic things about Han Solo was a bit of a letdown. I especially didn't like how he got his name, and that the reason Han Solo was so good at flying was because of the droid they put into the Falcon. Another reason I feel like this film just didn't succeed in places was because there really couldn't be any real stakes in the film, because we know that Chewbacca, Han Solo, and Lando all have to survive because we see them in the original trilogy movies. So at that point, you're making it really hard to make an action movie where there really are no stakes for it at all. Other than those few gripes I have about the movie, I still feel like it's a fun movie to watch, and I really enjoyed it in a lot of places. I honestly don't know if I would want to see a Solo sequel, just because I'm not exactly sure what they would do to make it any better than the first movie, but I would be all for a Disney Plus series where they would dive into the underworld. That would be so amazing to see because we really haven't seen much of the underworld at all, except for a small bit in the Solo film. I really would love to see them dive into this world of Star Wars, and I really think they could give us so much in that show. I think one of the strong points that the show could have is that they could make it not connected to the overarching story in Star Wars, which a lot of shows have gotten to do. We actually almost did get an Underworld TV show back when George Lucas had the rights to Star Wars, but it never got into production because of budgetary limits before he sold Star Wars and Lucasfilm to Disney. The show had test footage that was released before it was scrapped that actually might show us a small glance at what we could see an Underworld TV show could look like. If you want to watch that video, I'll put a link in the description below to it. Overall, I'm glad that Solo is starting to get some support, and I'm hopeful that maybe we can get a TV show from Disney Plus. Let me know what you guys think of this news in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about all this. Also, if you guys liked the video, if you could hit that thumbs up button, it really helps me out. If you like this video, I got a lot more content like this, so if you want to check that out, then hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys again for watching, and I hope you have a great day.